Hello my YouTube friends. I thought I'd start this video off in a slightly different location, just to mix things up a little bit, and I've been spending a lot of time in my van, so I thought it was appropriate. I'm also going to be spending a lot more time in this van. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that shortly. As for Invisalign, well, what can I say? A lot has happened in the past 5 months since my last video, and I am sorry guys, but I'm back. Hello. My teeth have moved a lot in that time. They've actually moved enough to the point where I'm semi-comfortable at smiling, which is really weird. I find myself looking in the mirror a lot more, just being amazed by kind of what's happening here. Hence, I'm very excited to share this part of my journey with you. So, let's get down to business. Guys, so good to see you again. Oh my god, I am sorry, it's been a while. Time has flown by, oh my god. And so much has happened. So much so I don't really know where to begin. I suppose the first thing is I got a new job. I don't know if you remember from my past videos, but I've worked late shifts for a long time. And in April, I finally got away from that and started a 9-to-5 job. Same company, different role. That was a pretty big deal because it was a complete lifestyle change. Again, kind of nicely timed as well, as these lockdowns started to be lifted and finally I could actually go out of an evening and do things that I couldn't do before. Why am I telling you this? Well, obviously that posed new challenges with Invisalign in my mouth, because up until that point I hadn't really been going anywhere or doing much. It had been a pretty smooth ride. Just lately I found it to be a little bit more challenging. Another thing you might remember me mentioning is my sleep. So when I started wearing my aligners, I was waking up really early all the time and I couldn't really pinpoint what it was. I could only really attribute it to wearing these aligners. But now I've started this new job and my sleeping pattern is completely different anyway. I have to get up early. It's no longer an issue. Like, I sleep fine. So, you know, I don't know if it was something I could blame Invisalign for or what, but that's not an issue anymore. What else changed? So my change days completely changed. In my last video I spoke about my weekly changes. So for a good 10-15 trays I had changed weekly without fail, and that was great. However, it got to about trays 20 and it all started to go downhill, and I'm not sure why. As you know, I'm using the dental monitoring, so every week I send a picture of my teeth to the orthodontist and they tell me whether I can change. They started saying, no, don't change, keep them in. And this has pretty much been the case 90% of the time since tray 20. So I'm currently on 31. I'm hoping to get 32 in tonight. We'll see, it's cutting it fine. But yeah, I've been told to keep them in for longer. In fact, some trays, a couple of trays, I've actually had in for 16 days. That's more than 2 weeks, which is weird and not that pleasant, because these trays after a week and a half start to get a bit horrible and stained, and to be told to keep those in for another 3 or 4 days, it's quite annoying. You know, that's been the case this week as well. I've been told to keep them in still twice, so we're approaching 2 weeks with 31. But, you know, that's the way it is. They see the photos, they tell me what to do, and I do it. Well, fast forward to the following morning, my orthodontist has told me to keep them in again, which is interesting because that means these trays are going to be in my mouth for 19 days. That's the longest I've ever had to wear the same trays for. Oh dear. What can you do? And this is what those trays look like when they've been in your mouth for 2 weeks. Now, I don't know if you'll really see this well on camera, but there's a bit of an unusual colour to these at this stage. They're a little bit kind of yellowish with quite a dark area on one of the front teeth there. Not too bad, but it's pretty spent. The bottom ones aren't too bad, it's the top one that seems to go a bit of a funny colour, but hey ho, let's get them in. Oh, that's another thing. I got new chewers because I was using the same one for about 8 months. You know, they last a long time, they don't really change, but actually, eventually they do give up and it started falling apart. So, a brand new one of these. What's next? So I want to talk about my teeth because I feel like they look completely different to, you know, the last video. These lateral incisors have been steaming ahead. They've been coming forward quite easily, really. Slowly, but surely they're coming forward, and it's so good to see. If we start with my left incisor, this guy, this didn't have too far to move. I mean, it was set back, and it's almost in line with my front teeth, which is cool. So there was this interesting period where that took place, actually. Like, obviously this tooth had to move over my bottom teeth, and for a few weeks there was this weird conflict happening where that tooth would be catching my bottom teeth. It wasn't that bad though, because I had this guy kind of doing the same thing, but kind of slightly behind. So this kind of snuck forward without me really noticing. You know, occasionally when I was eating, I might just catch it wrong, but most of the time I wasn't feeling it. And then all of a sudden, like, I realised this is actually in front of my bottom teeth now, and I didn't even notice it. It's just kind of gradually happened. That's got a bit more movement to do, but it's so close. As for my right incisor, so this is the one that was really pushed back. It's got a long way to move, and the past 5 or 6 trays have really made that happen. So this guy now is kind of in the same position this was when we started. Like, it really hasn't got that much further to go, which is awesome. This is the weird one, because although I didn't really feel this move over my bottom teeth, I do feel this. In the past couple of weeks, only recently, I've been able to close my mouth with both teeth in front of my bottom teeth for the first time in my life, and it's been incredible to watch. In fact, what started to happen was I'd wake up in the morning, take my aligners out, close my mouth, and I'd find that it was actually more comfortable to close my mouth with those teeth in front. Like, I can choose still, like my jaw moves, and when I'm eating, they tend to go behind still, like that. But actually, like right now, when I'm talking, I've got the trays out, those teeth come quite comfortably in front of the bottom ones. And that used to be impossible. Like, I could never do that. So they've moved so far that I actually have a smile now where all my top teeth are in front of the bottom teeth. And I can't put into words how awesome that is. Like, to see that I've kind of got a normal smile, like, that is a big deal. And I hope you can see it. I hope you can see that difference. If I think back to the start of my treatment, which is 9 months ago now, and I was really conscious of smiling. I really didn't want to do it. I did it for the camera, but I didn't enjoy it. Now I'm actually really happy to be showing you these and what's going on. So yeah, it's it's really cool. With that right incisor, it's only been able to come forward as the canine has moved sideways. That's still got a way to go. There's quite a gap there, but as that continues over, this is going to keep coming forward. I did actually lose the attachments from this canine some time ago now, I can't remember, but the orthodontist chose not to put them back, at least not yet. I guess if things don't track correctly, they might tell me to go back in, but for now they've deemed that attachment doesn't need to be there, I guess. And it was the biggest attachment. There was 2 big squares, and it actually made the aligners quite difficult to take off. Yeah, the enamel on this canine was not in a good way. I think when the attachments came off, they took some enamel with it, and I've kind of got some weird indentation there now, which isn't great to look at, but that's something I can fix down the line, I guess. I don't need to worry about that right now. But yeah, these are the 2 teeth I've got my eye on now. This canine is moving to the side, and this incisor coming forward. I feel like I'm so close. So yeah, jumping the bite. I mean, that's the phrase my orthodontist used when I asked them, you know, what happens with these teeth that have got to come over the bottom teeth. She said one day you'll wake up and it will have kind of jumped. And although it doesn't happen quite like that, you know, you don't wake up one day and suddenly it's in front of those teeth and it's there to stay. But what I found was that on some days I'd wake up, take the aligners out, and yeah, it would just come down and sit in front of those teeth. And basically the movement is all in my jaw, right? So as that incisor has moved forward, my jaw has kind of come with it, right? So my bottom jaw is kind of naturally sitting more forward than it should, and that's generally how I've been eating, so that the teeth don't bump into each other. Once my jaw has come so far forward, enough for the tooth to be in front of the bottom teeth, I can then move my jaw back and my bottom teeth sit behind my top teeth. That's how I found it to work. So it's all in my jaw, and I can still choose whether they come down in front or behind. But honestly, on camera, you can't really tell the difference, but I can feel it when the tooth is in front or behind. It's very obvious to me still. If I get it wrong sometimes, it's not very comfortable. But it's interesting, the jaw gets used to being in that forwards position, like when I'm eating, and then when I'm not eating, it kind of comes back on its own to reveal those incisors. I hope I've explained that well enough. It's a weird one, it's a weird experience, but that's as best as I can describe it. Let's have a look at some of the before and afters. I'm in trays 31 now. Have a look at this picture of my teeth when I first started with aligner number 1, and now I've just took this photo today. When I took this photo and looked at it on here side by side, I laughed. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, look at that. Look at those teeth coming forward. I just don't know what to say. Incredible transformation, if I may say so myself. And I'm only halfway through, right? This is 9 months worth of plastic in my mouth. And boy, is it worth it. Let's have a look at my teeth while they're closed. So this is really interesting. You can see that kind of jaggedness of the way my teeth meshed together in all different ways in that first image. Pretty gruesome, if I'm honest. And then below, this photo I've taken today, as you can see, those incisors are now in front of the bottom teeth. Now that's comfortable to do so. I've started taking pictures like that, and boy, what a difference. There's another photo I want to show you, and that's this bottom-up view, which this is not a flattering photo, but I think it's important to show just how much the teeth have moved. You know, look where they were. That canine sticking out in the corner, and now it's coming down towards that premolar. The front teeth have kind of straightened up, not perfectly, but they're a lot more in line than they were. Yeah, those lateral incisors, look at those. They have moved so far already. I've really enjoyed looking at these 3 photos this afternoon. I think they really show a difference. I'm impressed. what else is on the agenda? A few people in the comments have asked me about pain, which I get it. That's one of the main things I worried about before starting this treatment. That's what I wanted to know a lot about. Now, I don't want to disappoint, but I don't have a lot to tell you about pain, which is a good thing, right? But you know, I've had a pretty decent experience so far. I've not really had any pain or problems that I can talk about. Tray 20 was a little difficult. I think that was when this canine really started to move, and that particular tray was pretty sore on these teeth for a few days, and that was a little bit of a surprise. But then 21 was fine. And 22 and 23 and 24, they've all been fine. So yeah, I've seen some of these thumbnails on YouTube of these videos about pain with Invisalign, and they're all fancy, and they've got a, you know, there's a girl on the thumbnail and she's like, it's like Invisalign pain, and it makes me laugh. Like, I haven't watched these videos, so I'm not going to comment too much on them, but I mean, let's not focus on the pain, right? Let's focus on that end goal, what we're trying to achieve from this. And if it's a little bit uncomfortable along the way, then so be it. But please don't sit on YouTube watching these videos all about the pain with Invisalign. Like, I don't know how constructive that is. I don't know if it's going to make you feel any better, but I'm talking to you from my personal experience. I'm not tarting this up at all. I'm just telling you how it is, and my experience has been pretty decent. Like, I can't say anything else, I'm afraid. Right, next, I just want to talk a little bit about attachments and the staining on my teeth, which is one of the things I've started to become wary of in, you know, during this part of my treatment. So it wasn't something I noticed much at the beginning, but just recently I've become aware of, like, my teeth being pretty stained by things, and it's usually certain teeth as well. Now, I don't know if this is, you know, just to be expected when you're wearing these things in your mouth, or whether it's to do with the attachments or the glue that they put the attachments on with, but I've had to kind of keep on top of it a little bit, because it was starting to make me a little bit conscious of how my teeth looked. I mean, I think they're better, like, they're straighter. I'm finding myself wanting to smile more, but now I'm a little bit conscious of, like, what colour my teeth are, which I know isn't important right now because all this stuff is going to come off, but I can't help thinking about it a little bit. So I still drink tea, I still drink coffee. I try not to do it with my liners in, very rarely I do that. But I always have tea in the morning and usually a coffee in the afternoon. I don't know if that's contributed to this, but, you know, there's certain things that... I draw the line at cutting things like that out. I've made enough sacrifices for this. I'm still going to have my tea and my coffee in the afternoon. In terms of the staining, mainly the teeth with the attachments on, right? So this is a new attachment on here, by the way. And I've got some on here. I have some down here. These are the teeth that probably stain the most at the bottom in this corner. I've got a few areas where the enamel has come away, and of course they stain really bad. Luckily they're not too visible, but it's still a bit annoying. There's some big attachments down the side on that premolar, and they seem to be prone to getting like a brown stain on them, and these ones aren't too bad. So what have I been doing about it? Well, I'll show you. Here's two very small investments I made from Amazon. The first being a dental probe kit. So you can get these pretty cheap, under £10 probably. All I actually wanted from it was the probe, which is this thing, a little metal spike. And this is actually great for removing those really kind of dark built up stains that you kind of get between your teeth, and that probably is from coffee and things. I found just running along those stains with this very gently, it just comes off like magic. You won't believe it. And I think it's like, you know, I've seen those electric things online, the sonic cleaners, that is basically a spike like that vibrates. But I don't think the vibration is necessary. You can get one of these and just take the stain off your teeth. Like, I was very impressed actually when I first used it. It was a good purchase. The other thing is one of these. In fact, I don't even know what it is. So the other thing I got is a bunch of these tooth stain erasers. It's kind of a soft but abrasive material on the end of a stick, and you can just rub it gently on your teeth. And again, this was great at removing like the yellow tinge on some of these teeth. Like it kind of comes straight off with one of these. So again, very cheap. You can get a few of these on Amazon. I would recommend it. I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about was life in general, really. So 5 months ago, when I last spoke to you, we were still in a lockdown. There wasn't anything going on much, and that's all changed recently. So pubs and bars and restaurants are open now, and we're allowed to go out and do things. And yeah, I've tried to make the most of that lately, to be honest. I've been out with friends for a few drinks occasionally. I've been away camping, and I guess Invisalign has started to become a little bit more of a nuisance, if I'm honest. Particularly going away camping. I mean, I've just come back from a 3-night stay in the woods, and oh my god, limiting myself to 3 meals a day and trying to make sure my aligners are back in. What a pain. You know, you can imagine me crouched down in my tent with a bottle of water and my trays, and trying not to drop them in the grass. And oh my god, it was a bit of a challenge, but you know, I was pretty good. I made sure I kept them in for as much as I could. I've been out for food a couple of times as well, and again, unless you're willing to go to the bathroom straight after and brush your teeth and put these things back in, what actually happens is you keep them out until you get home, which sometimes okay, sometimes not. It might be hours go by before you actually get a chance to put them in again. So I've had all these things happen, and you know, some days they've been out for 6 hours perhaps, which isn't great. I'm ashamed, but it's just how it goes sometimes. You know, you can't beat yourself up about it. You've got to go out there and enjoy yourself. Try to be on top of it when you can. Things are still going okay. I know my change days have been extended, but you know, my teeth are still moving, so I don't have any worries there. Okay, there's just one more thing. So I have a small announcement to make. You may or may not be interested in this, but it's worth sharing, and I thought I'd tack it onto the end of this video diary. For the past couple of years I've been building this space that I'm in now, a camper van, and I'm actually making the decision at the end of this month, at the end of June, to move into this van full time, I guess, and give the whole van life thing a go for as long as I can. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm in the position to do that with work and stuff. So yeah, that's about to happen. Obviously I'm in the middle of my Invisalign treatment. Moving into a van kind of complicates things, but I think it's going to be okay. But I'm sure it's going to be, you know, an interesting experience. Transitioning to that lifestyle for a start, but also keeping up with the Invisalign stuff and making sure my treatment carries on as smooth as it has been going. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know that that's a thing, and I guess my next video is going to be from this van. Where I'll be, who knows, but I'll be in the van, and I shall endeavour to do another diary just like these ones about how things have been going. So I think that brings us to the end of Invisalign Diary number 4. Thank you everybody for sticking with me. Thank you for your comments. I'm getting a lot of people asking about the journey these days and asking for new updates, which is really nice. It's nice to know people are out there watching these things, and some of the things I'm talking about are actually of use to some of you, so that always feels good. Keep it up. I'll try to reply to as many of you as I can going forward. So as always, thank you for watching, and if you are interested in the whole van build thing, I do have an Instagram and stuff. I'll put some links below this video, so if you're interested in what I'm doing here, then you're welcome to go and check it out. But apart from that, I won't talk about this anymore. Okay guys, I will see you soon. Be good, be kind, and take care of yourselves.